Welcome to Bidayat's Inspiration Series, in which we hear from industry movers and shakers to learn about their professional journeys and get motivated by them. My name is Andrea Batilla, and here are Valerio Coretti and Federico Barengo.
Thank you, Andrea.
Ciao, guys.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Straight from Rome.
Yep.
So, shall we start when you say something about yourselves and what kind of studies you did and how did you actually meet?
Okay, I studied philosophy. That is not something you often
would expect
hear
from someone. Yeah.
And
but you studied philosophy because you liked it, because you wanted to do
yeah,
it.
because I studied ancient Latin and Greek in high school, and my parents' only concern was like take a university degree, and but it was like a very old school mentality, you know. And then when I finished, I asked myself, okay, what's now? And I was terrified.
Yeah.
Because there was like nothing ahead.
But can I ask you now, in retrospect, would you do something else, or would you do philosophy again?
No, would study philosophy 100 times.
Yeah.
Because in the end, we're here, so.
Right.
I think everything went fine in the end.
Yes. And so then after university, what did you do?
I decided to, like, I had this passion for fashion from when I was like 10 years old, and I first saw a Chanel show in television, because at the time fashion made some spot appearances here and there in the public television, and I decided to try. I said, why not? I already studied something that it's useless, at least useless to get a nice job in the most classic definition of a nice job. So let's try, let's follow another passion. But this time I did it in a with a more practical mindset, let's say. But at that time there was like not a great choice in terms of courses, and like fashion education was really poor. It was binary, like you could be a fashion designer or a fashion stylist, nothing in between, nothing beyond, nothing more than that, at least in Italy, because I couldn't like move from Rome. I didn't have the money to move from Rome, not even in Milan. I think in Milan something was already moving, nothing compared to what is now, because in the last decade the offering for fashion courses has become way more richer.
Yeah.
So I studied fashion styling.
Okay.
For 3 years at YED. And luckily there was a course to become fashion editor. That was something a little bit more interesting, because it implied writing. I could leverage some of my previously acquired skills in order to like reinvent them in a new form. And that was it. I was so naive at the time, so these 3 years really helped me understanding like the basic mechanics of the fashion industry. And like straight after I finished my fashion school, I met with Fede in one of the strangest way one could possibly imagine.
Which was... Is it something that we can say?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it's not,
it's fun. We were both in a Facebook group about buying, selling, and trading Saint Laurent items.
Oh, really?
And
Yeah,
he was
that is
one
Le
of
Mans
and he was one of the power sellers, and he sold me my first pair of Eddie Sliman boots.
And this is why you met?
Yeah. We did a meetup in Rome. He brought the boots, I brought the money. Like it's something like really close to drug dealing, you know.
Boots
That
dealing.
kind of shady situations.
Yeah.
And from that moment, everything started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your friendship started at that moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, after they give me money.
He's not the kind of guy that does anything for free.
Of course. We'll talk about it. And Federico, what did you do before?
No, after getting out of high school, Italian high school, I began to study at the University Architecture in Rome, La Sapienza, and I liked it. But what I was seeing around me was all people that had their parents being already architects, having a studio of architects or engineers, all this kind of stuff. So I was a bit like, a bit terrified of what I could do. But at the time, I always had I always managed to get to do some other, let's say, jobs which were not actual jobs, but to get some money on the side while studying. And one of these was basically buying what Valerio told you. I was basically buying and reselling fashion pieces, fashion garments. Or
So
shoes.
you were doing resales when resales was not a thing yet.
Yeah, basically yes. I started with more simple stuff like sneakers, which was way easier. But then I managed to get my hands on more high-end designer stuff. At the time, Saint Laurent by Zilman was really hot, especially with international buyers from other parts of the world. And also Givenchy, since there was still Tisci at the helm, was also a good way to make money. And this was going on. At the time, I also had a, let's say, fashion blog, which was the best medium. It was 6 years ago, 7, basically. And I was basically every piece I got to sell later, I took a picture of it and wrote a brief review about it. And then, so this way I could make some money on the side and also write some stuff about this kind of garments. And at the end, I also managed to, delving more with this kind of side. I understood that blogging wasn't the way anymore in which to continue. So I looked way more into social medias such as Facebook, Instagram, and also YouTube. At the time, I also made some YouTube video about these fashion garments. The videos were in English, and my English was kind of bad, but a lot of people watch them anyway. I still know many people from other countries that I'm still in touch with them, since they were viewers, subscribers of my YouTube channel at the time. And basically I delved more into social medias, and I started to make some consultancies, but it's funny to call them this way, to small stores and boutiques and also bars and restaurants in Rome, mainly my neighborhood, which for the owners of these places, social medias, Instagram, Facebook, I mean, we're talking 2013, 2014, 2015, which was like, what is this? It was like a new undiscovered world for them. So for a brief, very small fee, monthly fee, I will manage their profiles. And
so when did you actually start to work together? Because you kept having, let's say, a public career with your YouTube channel, and then which you still do, no? Very successfully. But then you started to work together doing consultancies and
Yeah, basically thanks to some connections that Valerio had already had with some boutiques in center of Rome. The main one is the Effetti. We started to do this kind of social media management and communication, and let's say also some kind of small PRs for these stores, and then also some for some brands that we, let's say, got in touch going through the stores, because these brands were sold in these boutiques.
right.
So basically that's how we started it. Then later we got into fashion buying as assistant buyers, and we went a lot of time to Fashion Week in Paris, in Milan also, of course. Once also Shanghai Fashion Week. Basically we spent 2 days in China, and we had some good shenanigans in there. And then later we got both, let's say, in touch randomly.
Yeah, quite randomly, because we
With a big
bumped
company.
into the company owner in their showroom. We were talking about Tomorrow Ltd. While
Tomorrow is a distribution company.
Yeah, it's a platform that does distribution, investments, brand development, licensing, a lot of stuff. But they were born as a distributing company, and they have these amazing locations in Paris. And during a session of buying with Massimo degli Effetti, we bumped into one of the founders of the company, Giancarlo Simiri. And that same night, Massimo received a call from Giancarlo that asked him, "Oh, who were those two guys you brought with you? I want to meet them." And then another chapter, a completely new chapter of our lives started.
Because then you went both and work with Tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We had 4 months of interviews with the two founders, the CMO that was just arrived from Frieze Art, and the senior business developer, and also the managing director of the consultancy side of the company. Their first idea was to develop with us a direct-to-consumer branch of the company.
Okay.
Because they wanted to do a direct-to-consumer event, they wanted to do pop-ups, and they wanted to involve us because at the time, in the middle of 100,000 things, we also managed to set up one of the biggest sneaker and streetwear events in Italy.
Which was what?
Kick It.
Okay. So you actually created the event.
We
helped create
we didn't create the event because the event owners are Efrati brothers, two historic store owners of one of the oldest sneakers and streetwear stores in Rome. But we created the format. We managed the communication strategy. We managed all the operations. So the event was mainly about us.
Okay. So that was a time in fashion where two things were basically happening. Social media was something that everybody had to deal with, and then streetwear through Riccardo, for example, Tisci, got into fashion. So how did you both live this big change from what was before and what is basically now fashion? What did you think really changed, and how did it change?
Well, I think that, and it's something I really can feel in first person, especially through, let's say, the feedback of the people that follow me on social media, is that fashion really opened itself to a way more a way bigger branch of public, of consumers, of course, because in the end, fashion is a business. So they're really a new wave of consumers that way years before always, let's say, thought of fashion as something unreachable, distant from it. And whereas this kind of change, which went both ways, in my opinion, because, we had, let's say, streetwear that got brought into runway shows and high-end designer brands and established historic maisons. And the other side, there were, let's say, communication strategy, PR, all this kind of stuff that were definitely got from all the more, let's say, luxury fashion world, were also brought into the strategy of way smaller brands, which can be considered the streetwear part of it.
Right.
So we also have two ways of contamination, and all the public, let's say, got in the mix and definitely, lived this change and began to get way more interested in it. And one of the best, let's say, tractions of this, in my opinion, and that they still get going to this day, are collaborations.
Right.
And the world of sneakers.
But who do you think was the most disruptive person? The first person that actually broke this barrier, first ones to do this?
I mean, I would say definitely Riccardo Tisci, because he brought stuff like sneakers that resembled the Nike Air Force Ones on which were the Tyson sneakers of Givenchy on the runway show, and then later, I don't remember the year, I think it was 2013 or 2014, also did a collab with Nike on an Air Force One model. So it was like that one side of this world recognized the other one. I think it was the first, even if today the situation is way more different. And then later came other people like Virgil Abloh and many other ones.
So today you have you're not working with Tomorrow anymore. You have your own company.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
We do consulting with one of our companies, and with the other that we just started, we have a brand that is our own brand, and we will talk about it later, I know.
Yeah.
And we are started taking licenses from other brands or other projects that want to develop themselves in the fashion field. So production, distribution, and we help them creating all the network that is necessary to create a product and bring it on the market.
So your company and yourself are dealing mostly with younger generation and with, let's say, streetwear-oriented brand. What do you think is the state of the market, of this kind of market today? Is it expanding? Is it true, as Virgil was saying, that streetwear is going to die very soon? What do you think?
I don't think that streetwear is going anywhere. I often see people in their 30s wearing full streetwear outfits and being comfortable with that. So I think it's only going to expand. Is now our reality, is what our reality is about. And for what concerns young consumer, I think they're becoming smarter, they are becoming more cultured, and this is why we try always to engage them at a higher level. because I think that like marketing, tomorrow marketing is not about making people dream they're somewhere else or someone else. Is trying to bring out characteristics that are in the product that people can find something that relates to themselves into the product, but with what they are, with what they feel, with like their inner and outer being. I think that making people desire to be or do something they're not is something that is definitely going to die, is what marketing has been about for like 50 years.
Since
now.
its beginning.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now people are becoming more self-conscious and try to find themselves in the product they love. And you have to deal with these new relationships between consumer and product, and you have to find the right interpretation. It's not more about like flash and boom and trying to impress. Is more like trying to build an honest narrative, something that is reliable and real.
Yeah. So Federico, you both came out with a collection called Garment Workshop.
It's not a collection.
Okay, so a project. So then, what is it, and why did you want to do it? Why did we need more clothing? So what's in there that we didn't have before?
Yeah, well, I mean, this kind of project started after we realized there was many people that were asking and looking for some kind of garments. Sorry for the play of words, but they were looking for garments, accessories that were high quality and with good price, so a good price to quality ratio. Yeah. And also this kind of search for this kind of clothing was the feedback that I was having from my community, but also the feedback we have from other people and from myself too, because many times I wondered, I have the logo T-shirt or the logo hoodie, good quality from a very expensive brand usually, but we don't have the basics that are made in Italy and with a good a good fit when you wear them, that you can wear them anywhere with sneakers, with a boot, so something very for any kind of occasion. And also, I mean, we saw that, we're Italian, we live in Italy, we have, thank God, in Italy we have one of the best, if not the best, industries of manufacturing of clothing, the best factories. I mean, we're still on the top of the world for this kind of stuff, luckily. So, I mean, we said we also have the connections with some of these factories. We said, why not starting a project of good basics and staples for your everyday wardrobe that are also made in Italy, and also let's take it this step further and also make it price and cost transparent, which is something in Italy probably we never saw, especially with this kind of streetwear, if that's the word, niche. So because the consumer usually are not too accustomed or know what's behind the curtain in fashion. Yeah. There have been many documentaries and even films, movies about what's the true cost of fashion and everything. But the kind of people that knows that and have seen this kind of videos and stuff are such a small percentages.
And also very often people think that they have no other choice.
Yeah,
while the hoodie you are wearing cost how much?
We we tell the consumers on the website when there's one of our product drops that we pay this hoodie 36 euros plus VAT, because that's also in the costs. And so everything is transparent. We also say how much the fabric costs, how much the manufacturing, the sewing costs of the people that work in the factories, how much the logistics and the shipping costs, and also, of course, how much the product costs what's the price, the retail price for the buyer, for the consumer, which is in this case 90 euros. So everything is transparent, everything is laid out. We don't hide anything about that. Also on the Instagram contents of the brand or on my own YouTube channel, we show what's the manufacturing process of the hoodie when it's sewed by some of them are old ladies in the Veneto region of Italy, which is kind of funny because there's it's like a circle where you have let's say a hoodie made for even for younger people, but which is sapiently made by some old women that have been doing clothing and sewing stuff in a really precise manner and good quality, let's say, pattern making for all their life. Yeah. So I think there's also some kind of poetry here.
Very much.
Everything is laid out, and we felt that this was an additional step in the right direction on why making we don't call it collection, a new, let's say, new product, new clothing.
So Valerio, this is my last question. Do you think the matter of transparency in general is the problem that the whole fashion world is going to have to face very soon? Or do you think it's going to stay in niche project?
I don't know, because we all know that there are giant groups in fashion ready to throw money at marketing directors and celebrities to convince you that their prices are fair and you are not entitled to know more about what's behind. And when they make a behind the curtain content, it's always so fake. It's just another layer of narration. But for sure, for new brands, that is, I think, the most correct kind of approach, because we are facing a time where you have big groups and historic fashion brands with 100 years heritage and new brands that are struggling to emerge.
Right.
So the fact that you can establish a more tight connection with your audience and involve them in new ways, also telling what the work of making clothes is about. It's really about all the struggles, all the difficulties, all the processes that brings a product to life. And I think this is the challenge of the future. Transparency is also about how you communicate your brand. So we live in an era where it seems like the brand is just about the creative director. And it also brings a lot of pressure on this kind of people, and they always get burnouts or in scary situations. I think that the future is showing how fashion is a collective effort to bring a product to life. And this is what I think our upcoming campaign will be about, to showing all the professionals behind the product and to put on the same level every kind of professional, the creative director, the model, the brand manager, the sewer, the manufacturing company owner, because it's thanks to this amazing collective effort that we can bring this hoodie to the market.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to big brands, I don't want to criticize too much, but they show you how their tailors make their haute couture line. It's always about like, okay, let's focus on them, but they are always separated from all the process. We want to show our audience the whole process and try to teach them or share with them how it works and like try to get them into the process with us. And I think nowadays it's the honest way, the most honest way to creating a dialogue.
We think so too. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank
Federico
you.
and Valerio, thank you very much. Thank you for following us, and I just want to remember that we're gonna post more videos like this on our YouTube channels, and you can follow us on Instagram, Bidayat, and on our website, bidayat.com. Thank you.